Hello, this is the instructions for the Wise Body group walking meditation class. And I'll share my screen. I'll start by paying my respects to the First Nations people who have walked and meditated on this land for tens of thousands of years and their continuous culture and custodianship. For my location, that's the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and the Darkinjung people of New South Wales. Today, we are here to train the mind, and we're training it to move between or even to alter states of the mind, states like concentration or acceptance or quiet. Note that we're not aiming to achieve a certain state, we're aiming to put in this effort and learn this skill. We're definitely not trying to empty the mind or to achieve enlightenment, nor is our aim solely to get calm. We want to balance calm, but not sleepy, against alert, but not alarmed. We're focusing our awareness on sensation to keep our attention in the present moment. You may find that your mind settles as you follow this process, but you're not striving for that settling. You're just meditating. So why do we bother with this kind of training? We spend so much of our lives in autopilot. This is useful, it's efficient, it's consistent, and it's essential for our functioning. It's when we want to make a change or grow or make a choice that we have to break out of autopilot. And that's what meditation is for. More benefits that I've seen from a meditation practice: presence, awareness, equanimity. And these kind of things draw lots of people towards meditation. And many people are turned off by trying to sit. So I'm here to help you become friends with your body again. I'm Mag Sheridan. I'm a coach and teacher in embodiment, which is about connecting the mind and body for dramatic life changes. My embodiment exploration group is called Wise Body because a wise body is what you have, not just a brain. It's easy to ignore this in our normal life. And we're here now because this wisdom, including intuition and emotion, as well as intellect, this wisdom is more accessible in the quiet stillness of meditation. Walking meditation is great for breaking out of autopilot for the same reason that seated meditation often works with the breath. Because these functions are partially automatic and partially directed, we can use them to develop this extremely useful skill of choosing not to be on autopilot for brief moments. Also common between breathing and walking, it uses the body, shows a cycle. It's often available for practice. The simplicity and adaptability of walking make it perfect for a meditative activity. And developing these mental skills while doing a normal daily activity makes it easier to call upon them when you need them in daily life. I've mentioned embodiment a couple of times so far, and you might be scratching your head. May not sound like it goes with meditation, may not be clear what it is at all, because the term embodiment includes a large number of concepts, and they're all related to the connection between the physical and the mental. In today's exercise, we're doing somatic work, quite literally using our physical bodies, and we are developing emotional and cognitive abilities. So connecting the body and the brain. I have a longer YouTube video about embodiment that explains this in more detail. Embodied meditation then. I have identified 5 things that make Wise Body meditation different than other ways you may have experienced it. For one thing, we're using body awareness as the object of concentration. The body and mind are together, and they're in this reality. There's not a transcendence kind of vibe. You also have permission to have a body during the practice. If you need to stretch, you can. And if we're in the group together, I hope that's quietly. Embodied meditation also may mean that there's a posture or gesture that can enhance the practice, such as with compassion. It's common to have a hand on heart for acceptance. And the fifth category is combining meditation with large and small movements. So the walking meditation is clearly right there in number 5. It also includes 1, 2, and 3, and it can even include number 4. There's a longer video about this as well. So the main point for you to take away is that this might not be like other types of meditation you've done. Let's talk about how it's done. How to do walking meditation is 2 steps. Allow the body to walk and observe. Allow means that you aren't directing your foot to do one thing, your knee to do something else. You're just walking. And then you notice that your foot is doing something and your knee is doing something. However your body wants to walk is fine. There's nothing to force. The one thing that you will want to direct is the speed. Move slowly. A slower pace will allow you to absorb more. And it is possible to move fast with perfect awareness, but it takes a lot of practice. So to start, slow your pace enough that you can become aware of the different parts of the cycle in each step. But don't go so slowly that you can't balance or it's otherwise distracting. Observe means to notice what the body is doing, to see if you can feel more over time. Sensation keeps us in the present because it's ever changing. And one of the things you'll be noticing is when you aren't noticing. If you think about the 5 senses that controls most of what we think of as sensation, seeing, hearing, tasting, and smelling are externally focused. Feeling can be both internal and external. And it's common for the external to be most prominent in your mind at first. The things that we see are super prominent, so we keep our eyes kind of down and softly unfocused to diminish the importance of that sense. You'll have a lot of sounds in the environment, people, footsteps, wind, traffic, birds. You might have the smells of your own body, plants, exhaust, the taste of the inside of your mouth. Then as time passes, you'll notice the things on the skin, which is the boundary between the external and internal. Notice the interactions that happen at that interface, like air and touch. And as you get better and better at noticing, prioritize the inner sensing. Feeling of your feet against the ground maybe first, then the movement of your limbs, tension in a muscle, the stretch of your skin, the gurgle of your belly, your heartbeat. For most of us, this is new territory, so be patient with yourself as you learn more body awareness. In addition to sensation, the next thing to take notice of is the rhythms. For each foot, you're going to have when the heel hits the ground, and then when it's flat, the ball of the foot, and then when it lifts. Similarly, each step has a beginning, middle, and ending, and a pause between. And maybe each pair of steps has a cycle. Your arms and your trunk are moving opposite to your legs. Your steps will change when you're making a turn. Your breath might be coordinated with your steps. The third category of things to notice, in addition to sensation and rhythms, are things about yourself and the experience that you're having. But remember to save your analysis for after the meditation. So to summarize, our assignment is to be aware of sensation in our bodies in a neutral way, to gently dismiss other thoughts, and to gently return when we're lost. Remember that the instruction to observe does not mean assemble yourself a to-do list of things to investigate and then tick each box. The broad range of options offered is meant to tickle your imagination and open you to the possibilities so that you can just observe whatever is happening. Also, beware of adding any judgments to your observations. Your assignment is simply to be a person walking and to be aware of yourself and its walking, including becoming aware of when you're not aware. This quality of paying attention is called mindfulness. Mindful walking is where the primary activity is walking, and it's done with a quality of mindfulness. Start here as a gateway to walking meditation. Over time, let the work on the attention, focus, distraction, concentration become your primary activity. The walking itself recedes as just the posture that you're using. At the same time, your repeated and continued attention on the walking keeps it in the foreground. So there's a small paradox there. Return to observing every time you notice that you aren't. Aim for just a little bit more observant or a little bit shorter time until you come back. And always gently. It will be difficult. That's why we practice it. So the difficulties can come in several different flavors, and some of the things that help are naming and counting. Give your brain a little bit more work to do by counting the steps or speaking the rhythm or speaking where you're feeling the motion or naming your emotional sensations. You might also explicitly speak back to your mind and say, I'm going to get back to that to-do list later. Thank you. I'm going back to walking and observing. Naming and counting can also work well in that case of that busy mind. You also may get a little bit spacey, in which case you can breathe differently, stand up taller, stomp your feet, and come back to reality. People often use the term grounding, ground yourself, and that means to connect your body with gravity and the earth. So here's how I would recommend to ground. Stop, stand and rearrange your legs and hips, etc., so that you're as stable as you can be. Feel the floor, the ground, the earth. Feel that gravity is pulling you down against the earth. And then feel that you can push into it. You might bounce. You can press harder. You can stomp. You can reach down and touch the surface. All these things are grounding. Most important, when you notice you're distracted, instantly forgive yourself. Don't waste any time on judging or feeling guilty or telling yourself you're not good at it. Just gently redirect yourself to start again. You may find that the focus is actually really easy for you, in which case you have the opportunity to dig in and try to have more constant attention or deeper or subtler, or slower, or wider. Be sure to continue to focus, not just think about ways to alter it. So much of the practice can be narrowed down to repeating these questions as you shift between states of more and less concentration. What now and what else? One more note about boredom. It's not just okay to be bored, it's actually great for you. Boredom in your thinking mind means that your attention can drop into your body, your intuition can be heard, your subconscious work can work on solutions that will be revealed to you in an aha moment later on. So don't avoid boredom. You're seeking it out. So the usual schedule is here, and note that we'll have 2 practices. Each one will start and end with a bell sound, and we'll have a short discussion in the middle. At the end, a longer discussion with some guided inquiry and next steps. Keep yourself safe by having your eyes open with a soft gaze and walking predictably enough that you can avoid each other. And we're not speaking to each other or commenting on each other's practice. If you feel the urge to speak to someone, perhaps a glancing smile at them, and then return your soft gaze to the ground or to the horizon. Remember that we are in a group, but each of us is having an experience that is internal and entirely individual. You're in charge, so take things at your own pace and take a break whenever you need. All right, we're getting ready to practice. After the group practice, we'll come back together for some inquiry and talk about what we noticed. This list is divided into those 3 layers of the external environment and the skin and the internal environment. We'll talk about the patterns of personality that can be revealed even in such a short and small exercise. And then talk about how to apply the practice, how to get these qualities in real life, how to bring this feeling back to your mind, where you can insert this practice into your day, and how to make it most successful for you. So you have enough information to do this practice yourself. Start with a small session and be sure at the beginning to set the intention that this is a meditation, not just slowly walking through the garden. In this practice, you don't just learn how to meditate while walking. There's a higher aim, which is your personal development. This embodied meditation state means you're learning some things about how you are in this moment, and you're also learning about your power to shift that state. You're learning how to see what's happening and not judge it. So can anyone think that might be useful in real life? Yeah, the aim is not to get Zen. The aim is to get a tiny bit more observant, a tiny bit less judgmental, a tiny bit more powerful. And these small changes add up so well. I'd love to work with you on this stuff in person in Sydney or online, anywhere. This link goes to a special offer about getting unstuck on one question you've been thinking about in a single session of online embodiment coaching. And I will close with a story, which is my testimonial for the practice of walking meditation. First time I taught this class in Centennial Park, the class was at 9 a.m. And at 7 a.m. that day, I was at the emergency veterinarian with my dog who was not using her back legs. And she is my love. And I was fighting back my tears and I was absorbing the stress of the other people in the waiting room. Luckily, I found out that she was going to be okay in time to get a ride over to the park and lead the meetup. I was literally shaking it off and grounding on the grass and doing breathing exercises in the few minutes before people started to show up. And I was able to get it together and I led the practice. Towards the end of the 20 minutes, I realized that I had been practicing myself and that I had actually not worried about the small dog in quite a while. So I want to encourage you that it does work to meditate while walking, and it does have the power to change your state in the moment. So come with me and let's walk.